The House Oversight Committee will begin moving forward with holding first son Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress after he defied a subpoena to sit for a deposition last month. All of this part of the GOP's 2-year-long impeachment inquiry into President Biden, as the White House is still insisting Republicans have no evidence. Meanwhile, top Republicans calling up James Biden's former business associate Michael Lewitt to testify, insisting that he has additional information regarding the $200,000 loan payment check to the president from his brother. I want to bring in now Florida Congressman Greg Steube. He is a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and the House Weaponization of the Federal Government Select Subcommittee. Congressman, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So
when you come back to work in Washington, Hunter Biden again is going to be the focus here. Do you expect with the subpoena, which he has defied so far, that things will change and that he will, in fact, testify in front of your committee?
Well, I doubt he's going to do that. I'm sure his lawyers are cautioning him against doing that. They should have cautioned him to show up and do his duty that Congress has ordered him to do and subpoenaed him to do. So my guess is next week the Oversight Committee will do the contempt of Congress. That'll go to the floor, hopefully next week. And remember, when the Trump officials like Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon defied Congress, a congressional subpoena, the DOJ charged them with contempt of Congress. Steve Bannon himself spent 4 months in prison. So it'll be very interesting to see after the House passes the contempt resolution if the DOJ actually charges Hunter Biden like they did Trump officials who defied congressional subpoenas as well.
I want to bring in Amber Duke. She's on set with me here. She's got a question for you. Amber, go ahead.
Congressman, are you planning any action against your Democratic colleague Eric Swalwell? I mean, he helped Hunter Biden defy this subpoena by booking that press conference for him on Capitol grounds.
Yeah, I hope that's something that Chair Comer is looking at. I hope that's something that the Ethics Committee is looking at. That's activity that you're aiding and abetting, violating a congressional subpoena as a member of Congress. So I hope the Ethics Committee, which is the body and the committee that is in our Congress that has the ability to go after members of Congress, I hope they're looking at that when we get back next week.
I want to move to the other big issue that we've been following, of course, and that is the crisis at the southern border. House Speaker Mike Johnson and 60 Republicans are heading to the southern border near Eagle Pass, Texas. That's today. But this is the first major event of 2024 to curb the growing border crisis. And this is just a few days after we got these new numbers, this historic 302,000 illegal migrants that crossed into the U.S. just for December. Now, President Biden still claims he needs money to fix the border. Watch what he had to say to a reporter yesterday.
Give me the money I need to protect the border.
So hard to hear, but he said, give me the money I need to protect the border. He's talking to you and your colleagues.
Yeah, he's got plenty of money to just enforce the law, which this administration has blatantly refused to enforce federal law at the border. Over 10 million illegal immigrants have entered our country since he's been president. They want more money from Congress so that they can hire more agents to process illegal immigrants into our country. Fentanyl at record levels, the amount of fentanyl that's been captured at our southern border that's killed over 100,000 Americans is enough to kill 18 times the population of America. It's just absolutely insane what's happening at the border, and they're willfully and intentionally violating a federal law. And I hope one of the things that we're looking at when Congress gets back into session next week is bringing the impeachment proceedings against Mayorkas to the floor.
Okay, so going after Mayorkas for, I'm assuming, his failure at the southern border. By the way, one of your Republican colleagues, Chip Roy at Texas, he says he's not going down to Eagle Pass today. He says, I'm sick of press conferences. Nothing changes. This is all just a bunch of talk. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's been a year. It's been frustrating for conservatives who have been clamoring to our leadership that something has to be done. I'm glad that Speaker Johnson is making a point of going down there and showing that Republicans are serious about the border and tying it to these ongoing negotiations with the budget. Speaker Johnson has been very strong on the fact that there's not going to be any money for Ukraine and these other things that the Democrats want until they shut down the border. I'm perfectly fine with shutting down the government until Joe Biden shuts down the government or shuts down the border. But unfortunately, a lot of my colleagues aren't on the same page as I am on that.
No, I think you're right. Amber's got another question for you.
You mentioned, Congressman, that the president only wants more money so that he can process migrants more efficiently. At the same time, these Democratic mayors who are helping to resettle these illegal aliens are criticizing the Biden administration, but are not calling for more border security. They're calling for also more resources, more housing, more ability to process, work permits. These are just further incentives for these people to continue to cross, no?
Yeah, of course it is. And getting them some type of federal benefits when they get here incentivizes these individuals to get here. We have to shut down the border. We have to pass a border package. We passed H.R. 2 last year in this Congress. Of course, the Senate's not going to do anything about it. So we have to use the appropriations process because that is the power that we have controlling the purse strings in the House to be able to get something done on the border. The American people are sick and tired of it. They see exactly what's happening. And this administration and Democrats want to allow all these illegal immigrants into our country and then give them the ability to vote.
You know, we have to run, but Betsy McCaughey writes on FoxNews.com in an opinion piece. It's something that you just mentioned in Amber as well. Yeah, of course you want to come here because you get a right to shelter, right to meals, rights to health care, even the right to vote in local elections. All of that just by illegally crossing the southern border. That's what's waiting for you in places like New York City, unfortunately, where we are. Congressman Greg Steube, it's always great to talk to you. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
All right.